Hey y'all, the Paul Report's coming right up in a second, but did you know that I had nothing absolutely to say during this 25-second opening? I know, it's amazing, but look at the lovely floral behind me. It's so nice, isn't it? All right, come on back and we'll take care of this show this week. It's going to be a good one. I promise. I'll have to do that in post. Change that in post. We'll change it in post. We'll fix it in post. Post Raisin Bran. Post. We'll fix it in post. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Paul Report. I, as you know, are your host. Gotta do it right. That's me. Now, get out of here, you little stinker. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I promise I will get to the chat a little later. This show tonight is being brought to you by the letters A for Apple and B for butter. All right. I want to thank you for joining me. I will get to the comments, but what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into... Not that. We're going to jump right into... Where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. The Paul Report Health Update. All right, so this week... God, I'm all over the place here. There we go. This week was kind of crazy. Because not only did I have like a huge pain in my ass on Facebook, I also had my eyes. I got needles in my eyes this yesterday, and when I tell you that I walked in there, as I mentioned in my post earlier this week, I walk in there and it's like no big deal. I walk in there, it's like, hey, I'm here for shots on my eyes. Let's get the needles going. Bippity-boo. You know. And then they said, Paul, could you please stop that? You're scaring the other patients. And so I get in there and it's like, hey, okay. You know, they call me in and they do this little pre-thing, this triage thing. They have me check my eyes, put the thing over. I got to read the things. Everything's going groovy. They check my blood pressure. It's always high when I go in there. Always. I go to my doctor at my yearly, and my blood pressure is perfect. 120/80. Perfect. No problem. Get the best blood pressure. Get the best. I do. I have the best blood pressure. Okay? I go into a place like this, and I feel fantastic. My blood pressure is like 155/1,000 or some shit like that. I don't know. I went to the hospital when I was there for my surgery. When I tell you, I'm calm. I'm like chill. And they're getting my blood pressure up around 160, 170. Like, what are you so nervous about? Well, you're going to be cutting me open and taking stuff out of me, but I'm not nervous about that. I'm not nervous at all. So I don't know what is my blood pressure going up and down when I'm actually in a doctor's office, except for my yearly physical. I don't know. So I went in and got my shots, and they told me that there's no new bleeders, but the stuff is still there. It's not going away. It's been over a year and a half. It'd be going on 2 years. Yeah, it's been like 2 years in November that this happened when it started. So I don't know. But I'm hoping that it'll, again, start to clear up. But the problem I have now is, I don't know if you can see it, but the bottom of my eyes are very red. Here, I don't want to move that camera. Oh, I can move the camera. Hold on a second. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. Let's open my eyes up here. Look at that. Isn't that disgusting? Nasty. So, there we go. It's like frickin' iCarly over here. But yeah, so it hurts to rub my eyes if I get something like an itch in my eye and I rub it. It hurts like hell. But be that as it may, I don't have to go back now for 11 weeks. Before it started with 6 weeks, then 8 weeks, then 10 weeks, and now they bumped it up to 11. Whatever. Okay. So that is good, I guess, that I don't have to go back for another 11 weeks. But I really want it to get cleared up like soon because I'm tired of looking at it. So, but we'll see what happens. And also, I'm still working on losing some weight so I can get my hernia fixed. You remember the hernia? It used to be called an ab vag, but then it changed. And now it's a hernia. So I'm looking to get that changed or fixed, really, because I really don't know what it is that's pressing against me. It could be my intestines. It could be a pancreas, maybe. Could be my stomach. You know what it's definitely not? It's not my gallbladder because they took that out of me without my knowledge. The bastards. All right. That's it. That's the health update. All right. So, a few weeks ago, it was back in August. The wife and I went up to Lowell to the Lowell Music Series, and we saw the New England Film Orchestra play an outdoor concert. And I got to tell you, it was a great night for an outdoor concert. It was warm. There was no threat of rain. There was a light breeze. It was really nice. And, you know, a lot of people around, but that's okay. It was outdoors. And we were treated to a few hours of music from movies. There was The Godfather. There was Star Trek First Contact. There were a slew of other movies. I have the program upstairs, but I don't remember the other ones off the top of my head because I'm old and stuff falls out of my head. But it really was a fantastic show. And back in the day, when I was at the now disappearing Lincoln Junior High, actually when I was at the Holmes and then Lincoln, I was in band in both places, but I was accused of following someone else's fingers, and I was kicked out of the band in elementary school. And then I took a year off, and I came back when I went to Lincoln. I came back in the 7th grade and played again, but they needed a baritone horn player. Now, at the time, I thought, this is cool. I'll be unique. I'll be a baritone horn player. Well, little did I know that my future self was going, no, don't do it. There is no future for the baritone horn. I mean, the Roots had a tuba player, but no baritone horn anywhere to be found. And to be quite honest, I wasn't like the top rung of the ladder of that, but I was all right. I could read music. I could play. Don't ask me what key it's in. I had no clue. But as a member of the Malden High School band, I remember performing like the spring concerts and winter concerts or whatever, and there was a sort of like electricity when you were in the band. You know, people think we're band geeks, whatever. I don't care. But I enjoyed band. I had a lot of fun with a lot of good people in band. And one year, we played Jupiter, which is from Holst the Planets, and that is a very awesome piece of music. In that same concert, we played the Battle Hymn of the Republic, complete with the band doubling as a choir, singing a verse from the song. And what was really cool about that is my friend Gary was at the show. Gary didn't go to my school, but he came to the show. And I remember him coming up to me after the show, and he said, wow, I was completely blown away. And you understand that this is a 16, 16-year-old kid saying he was blown away, and Gary was pretty with it. He was no slouch in the be in the now moment and stuff, and he was no band geek for sure, but he was impressed, and to me that was pretty awesome. That, my friend thought it was impressive, and he used the term, I was blown away. And I thought that was pretty cool, and it maybe, sense of pride, sense of like belonging. And then, my future self caught up to my 7th grade self when it said the baritone horn had no future. And so after high school, I just stopped playing. So circling back around to the New England Film Orchestra. So I'm at this show, and I'm just reminded of my band days and playing and how much fun it was and how much fun it must be for them to play. So I thought they're having a Halloween concert, and I got tickets earlier, but I thought I would share this with you all. So maybe, just maybe, you yourself might want to go to this Halloween concert. It's happening on October 21st at the First Church in Cambridge. That I believe is at 11 Garden Street. Now the tickets are $30, and it's a nice night out for short money. Really, it's really a good option for that, and it's general admission. So if you wanted to come and hang with the Paul Report, that would be cool. Now, as a special treat, I am trying to get the founder, the music director, and the maestra of the New England Film Orchestra on this show. Now, thankfully for us, that's all the same person. And her name is Gina Nagar, and we're trying to work out schedules to get her on the show. We don't have a definitive date yet, but we're trying to get her in before the 21st so we can talk about the origins of the orchestra and talk about what goes into getting this group together and talk about the show on the 21st. So I will post a link in the chat in a little bit, but I did want to give you some information on why is that not showing up? Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. All right, let me turn that off, and let me come here. And no, it's not there. Is it here? Yeah, it's right here. There it is. I don't know why it didn't show up, but whatever. So there is their logo, and there is their website, newenglandfilmorchestra.com. And if you go there, you can buy tickets right online. I got mine. And what I may actually do, because I'm really jazzed about this concert and the organization and such, that I may actually give away from my own pocket a pair of tickets. So, yeah. So spread the word, and I'll put it on a post on Facebook, but I may actually do that. I may invest a little bit more into the show instead of just making, what do they call it? The GFY awards to hand out. I'm going to give away some concert tickets. Now, I take a big chance because, people get concert tickets from radio stations for like big name concerts, and sometimes they just decide not to go. Now, radio stations can take a hit for the concert tickets that they get because they're typically comped. But these would be tickets that I'd be paying for out of my own pocket. So if you win them and you don't think you're going to go, don't take the tickets. Let me give them to someone who will go to the concert and even hang out and chat. Not during the music playing, because that's like a movie, man. Don't talk to me during a movie. Don't talk to me when the songs are going. I like to hear the music and experience and feel the music. So, again, I'll post a link in the chat a little later. And, yeah. So what do you say we, well, I'll tell you what, I'll leave that up for a few other minutes. But let me go into the chat and see who is here. Let's see, where is the chat? The chat is here. I have Jen. Hello, honey. I have Stan. And I remember Kenny. I know Kenny. Kenny, I was talking about that commercial maybe about a week or two ago. We were paid $1. Each of us were paid $1 to be in that commercial. One singular dollar. And I remember it was weird because we were in the parking lot and they had us, with our instruments, full instruments, the whole thing, but we weren't playing a note. We were just kind of marching. Well, this is how I held the baritone. Trumpets were like this, drummers were like this. And we're just moving, but we're not playing anything. And then what they did is that after or before, I forget exactly when, they actually had us play the theme song that was going to be in the commercial right outdoors. I would figure they would, well, I guess for acoustics and the proper sound, we had to record it outdoors, but we recorded it, did a couple takes of that, and then that was it. And I remember seeing the commercial for the first time. Dan! Welcome back, Dan. I remember watching the commercial the first time going, I think I saw me. And I think I was like right kind of there. And, but I haven't seen the commercial in, how long has it been? It'll be almost 40 years. I haven't seen a commercial. So if anyone watching or anyone knows anybody who might have a copy of that commercial, by golly, I don't even know if it's on, maybe it's on YouTube. Who knows? I should check it sometime. I can't attest to that, Ken. I don't know, but I remember Bob from Privy to Supreme was there, but I can't attest that he was grabbing ass. Although I did feel something. I don't know. But Mary's here. Hi, Mary. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And yeah, so that was a good time. I have to admit that commercial was and I remember, God, you got all the memories flowing now. I remember being, why am I looking crooked? I'm looking crooked. Hold on a second. I remember being in band and there was someone in the office and Mr. Blackman's office, and we were practicing, and then she came out running and screaming, we're going to be in a TV commercial. And all of us just were like a dog listening for sound. We're like, huh? Jackie? And that was like the beginning of it. And it just, everything happened. And it was very cool. Very, very cool experience for this guy and for the whole of the other band. That's when the band was huge. We did competitions. We did football games. We played a halftime show. That was the time, man. I wish band never, like the arts, period, never fell to the wayside in a lot of communities like it did in Malden. I went to a football game a few years ago. Now, again, I don't know if it's picked up since then, but I went to a football game a few years ago, and there were like 10 people in the band. I was like, seriously? 10? There were like 300 of us. You should get the band back together. Yeah, I wish I had that kind of clout, but I walk into Malden High and all they say is, do you have a pass? They don't know me. They don't know me from a hole in the head. The folks at Linden know me. The folks at Linden definitely know me because, yeah, they know me. That's all I'm saying. OPP right here. All right, let's see. Another story. I do want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for hanging out. There is a story that I read about. Just want to get everything ready here for it. There's a story I read about, and it had to do, kind of keeping with this musical theme we actually stumbled on. And this next phrase is from my wife. Body positive songstress Lizzo was given a rare opportunity to play a crystal flute owned by former President James Madison. Now, this flute was given to the president by a French flouter in 1813 as a gift for his second inauguration. Now, this is according to the Library of Congress. It is said that the flute was one of the few items former lady and that hottie, Dolly Madison, heck of a baker, took with her from the White House as she fled before the British troops set fire to Washington, D.C. in 1814. So I have a quick clip of Lizzo playing this flute somewhere official. I'm not sure where it is. So let's enjoy this for a moment. Isn't that pretty cool? I think that's pretty cool that, I closed a window. I don't know what window I closed, but I think that's pretty cool that, the Library of Congress was willing to bring this thing out and have someone who is, in my personal opinion, a very positive role model for a lot of different reasons. And again, speaking about band, she was, first flute, first chair in her band in high school. And she went to college for it, and she's really good, but she gave it up. Didn't give up, she gave up on college to go into the music biz, but I think, again, very positive, very good stuff coming from Lizzo these days, and I do like her music. I'm good as hell. All I need now is a white guy overbite. Yes. So then my wife was a band person too, so, that's another reason why we really kind of like each other, is we were both in band. I need to figure out how I can open up the window I need to open. I don't know which one it is. Nope, it's not that one. Oh, I decided too that I am going to make a, Zanfir? Please explain that, Dan Capello. I'm not sure what that means. Is that the master of the pan flute, Zanfir? Is that guy? I thought his name was something else. Nope, not that. Is it this? Nope, not that. Is it this? Nope, not that. Where the hell's this goddamn window? Oh, what do I need? I need scenes. There we go. All right. Yes, Master of the Pan Flute. That's right. Zanfir. I remember now. Zanfir of the Pan Flute. All right. So, another friend of mine, her name is Michelle. She had been talking for a while about doing stand-up. Now, I had my time doing stand-up back in the, started in 1990. My last official show was in about 96. I did a small return, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. No, had to be longer than that. I don't think I had met my wife yet. So it had to be about 7 years ago. I did a show. And it was horrible, and I'm glad I didn't pursue it any further. And I did one other show after that. I did a roast of my good buddy and former co-host Mark Scalia of Radio Regardless, and I did a roast for him, and I went up and said some roasty things about people I didn't even know. I didn't know anyone else on the show. I knew like one guy that I could talk about. Everything else, it was just like spinning a wheel and throwing an insult at him. I'm not very good about that. But hey, Willie, hope you're feeling better, buddy. That would be your sister, Michelle. That's right, Mary. And we had talked about it briefly at some point, but she had actually gone up and did it and said she had a blast of a time, and she may go do it again. But it made me think of, would I want to do that again? Would I want to go back to a medium or a performance art that, quite frankly, I wasn't really good at to start with, but I had my moments. Don't get me wrong. I had my moments of brilliance, and I did get applause many a times. But those aren't the shows I remember. The shows I remember are the ones where it's like, or shit being thrown at my head. Those are the shows that I remember. And just I don't know. I thought to myself, maybe I'll make the drive up to Portsmouth, where the show is being held. But then I think it was that particular night we were down to one car because my wife's car broke down and it was still in the shop, and I had one car and I had to pick up my daughter at work that night, so I couldn't make it up there. But I thought maybe I'll do it some other time. And then I remembered there's a open mic night at the Winner's Circle in Salisbury, Mass. And I thought, well, I'll go up there, but that's on Tuesday nights and I bowl on Tuesday nights. So now I'm kind of thinking, maybe the universe is telling me something. Maybe it's telling me to stay the fudge away from comedy. But, you know, I wrote some stuff and I'm actually kind of jazzed about the writing portion of it. So I don't know. I'm kind of in this quasi middle of the road type of thing. And you know what Mr. Miyagi says about being in the middle of the road? You walk left side road. Okay. You walk right side road. Okay. You walk middle of road. Just like grape. So, I don't know. I'm deciding. I don't know what to do because it's something. It's something. Something to do. You know, I don't know. But Willie, glad you left that night, because if you gave me whatever you had, I would have found you and beat you, really, because I can't be sick. I can't. I just can't. So I'm glad you're feeling better, though, buddy. We ended up taking 8 out of 10 without you. Just so you know, we took 8. All right. I made apple butter. And I don't know if I told the story of the apple butter, not the one that I ate, but the one that I didn't eat. And that was back in 1970 something. Ken, I am going to answer you back at another time about what I just received. There's a whole thing about that. But I made apple butter. And I remember the first time I tried apple butter, I was down in Cedarville, Mass, subsection of Plymouth, Mass. I was on vacation. And I was at my friend Paul's house. Paul Hanrahan, to be exact. A lot of Hanrahans in this family. A lot of them. So if one's listening, hi, miss you guys. But Paul made me an apple butter sandwich. The problem was he put it on plain white bread. Now, plain white bread and apple butter are not a good mix. Why? Because apple butter has a sweetness to it. Because it's apples and cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and some sugar. Hence the sweetness of it. So when you put that on regular Wonder Bread without any kind of preparation or cooking of the bread, the taste was awful. The worst. Sorry, Paul, but you ate that sandwich up like it was like you hadn't eaten in a month. I had that sandwich and I was like, yeah, this is really good. You know, I didn't want to seem ungrateful. So I did eat it, but it was just awful. So from that day in 1970 something, I despised apple butter. So here I am now. This is probably like 3-4 months ago. And I saw it in the store. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to put it on toast. So I did, and unbelievable, okay? We're talking over 40 plus years, okay? Probably 45 years. Would that make sense? 46, 40, probably 46 to 47 years, okay? That I didn't have apple butter because Paul Hanrahan put it on a white piece of bread and didn't toast it. And this was like my taste buds were like, holy shit. Feed me, Seymour. It was incredible. Incredible. It was like I was ready to change my political affiliations. But it was that good. It was that good. So I bought another jar of it. Oh, no, actually, my ex-mother-in-law bought me a jar from New Hampshire where they go up camping because we watch Lola every so often, and she bought it as a thank you gift. So I got it from there, and it was really good, too. Now, this was like a homemade stuff. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make apple butter. So my bride and I went out to Doe Orchards in Harvard, Mass, or Air, Mass. I forget what city it's in. I think it's Air. But we went out apple picking last weekend. We picked a bunch of different varieties and brought them home. And then I sorted some out. I needed 6.5 pounds of apples for this recipe. So I sorted out different types. We had Cortland's. We had Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Macintosh, Gala. Is that correct to say it? Macounds or Macoons or Mickey My? I don't know. But that's the types we had. So I picked a variety of these. And what's side tangent here about this, I got this recipe online. And don't you hate when people write up their write-ups about their recipe and they include all this happy horseshit about how good your house is going to smell and how they cook it and what, type of apples they use and why they use them, but then they contradict themselves and say you can use any apple you want and not just the soft ones and not just the hard ones, but you could use any, but even though they said I use the soft one. Just show me the recipe. Give me maybe a paragraph of your own personal input. Then give us the instructions and the ingredients, please. Stop telling me a life story about how your husband comes home from work and he kicks the dog and he reads the paper, and if you don't present him with apple butter on a golden platter, he's gonna freaking leave you. I don't care. You should leave that relationship, though. He's not a good person for you. But anyway, so I made this apple butter. Now, 6.5 pounds of apples is a lot of apples when you come down to it. So first I had to peel them. So I was going to go out and get a regular apple peeler for this, but I thought, I'll do it by hand. So I did. I think it was probably like 12, and a lot of them were pretty large apples. But there's probably like 12 apples in there. So I peeled them all, and then I used the apple slicer. I had to use the smaller one because my wife may have broken the larger apple peeler. Wait a minute. As Sarah would say. Okay. I know it wasn't your fault, honey. It was mine. So, happy wife, happy life. So I used the apple peel. And again, some of the bigger apples I had to kind of finagle through. But I got them all sliced. But then I took it an extra step further, is that I actually chopped up all the slices into smaller chunks. So each slice came into like 3 or 4 parts, depending on the size of the slice. So now I have this huge bucket of apple pieces. And I get out the cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and the sugar. I only used about half the sugar that it told me to use because the apples that I was using, most of them were sweeter apples versus not. So put it all in the slow cooker, turned it on, and about 3 hours later, I took a picture of it, and it looked like it was still chunky and there were pieces there. But by 11 o'clock, before I went to listen to my audiobook, it was nice and it was getting kind of like goopy. And this morning when I woke up, I went out there and it looked just awesome. Looked phenomenal. It didn't cook all night. It actually cooled down, which made it thicker, which is really kind of nice. And so now I have this big, thick pile of it, which I have to puree next. And after I puree it, then I'll have this true apple butter product. But I'm going to save some of the chunky stuff because it's so good on toast. So anyone in the chat, do you like apple butter? Because I have an idea. But if you like apple butter, just say so in the chat. Again, I have an idea. Oh, this is imagination. Idea, imagination. Okay. I used my imagination to have an idea. Okay. Soon. No, wait. More. Soon. Okay. A few people. All right. Just keep them going if you like it, because I have a thought. In the whole spirit. Now we have more people here. I do want to just kind of rehash something real quick about the New England Film Orchestra. Now, oh, damn it, because I'm in the wrong goddamn section. Ugh, God, there we go. All right. So I may be giving away tickets to the New England Film Orchestra's show on October 21st, 2022. Now, I say I may, but I probably will, because I really want to, get people in the seats, because they have in the past years had to cancel it, which sucks, because all the preparation that the musicians put into this and all the energy and blood, sweat, and tears and coffee and donuts and cigarettes and whatever else they do. They put a lot of work and effort into it, so I really want to, help do my part at least to have the show go on. So, since there are, again, more people listening, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm also going to try to get Gina on the show, who is the founder of the New England Film Orchestra. She's also the maestra. She's also the music director. She wears a lot of hats, but I'm trying to get her to come onto the show. Again, we haven't worked out scheduling yet because she's very busy and I have nothing going on. So I'm open, just, working. So I'm going to give away tickets to that, 2 tickets to the show. And I'm really hoping that the person who takes the tickets is honorable and will go to the show. Now, Stanley, I know that you're in North Carolina. So no, I was just going to say airfare is not included. Sorry. But you could certainly give them to someone up here if you won them. Maybe Eddie and a child of his could go. I don't know. I'd like to see some people there. Even if you don't win the tickets, I'd like to see some people there. It's a good time. Again, the orchestra is very good. Again, the conductor, Gina, is a great. I met her many, many years ago at a film shoot, and just the nicest person. And she's very personable with the audience. So it's nice to have that dynamic as well. So you would do yourself a favor to go to the show, but you'll do yourself a solid if I get you tickets for it. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because there were more people watching at this moment than I started when I did it the last time. So there we go. All right. So I got a few people who like apple butter. Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another batch, and then I'm going to give a jar away, a mason jar of apple butter away. And I'll seal it and everything so it'll keep, and you don't have to use it right away, but I'm going to make you the Paul Report official apple butter. So I'm going to do that. So very cool. Let's see. Now, to finish off the apple conversation, because I need your help, I got a whole bag of apples left. And again, I'm going to make another batch of the apple butter, but I still have a lot of apples left. I need to know what I should make. I'm not going to make applesauce because I got apple butter. So I'm thinking what I could make. Make. What can I bake with apples? Should I do like a German apple upside down thing in the what do you call it? No, it was called the German pancake, where you put apples on the bottom and then you put the cake thing there and then you flip it over and it's all like an upside down cake. Apple pie is a possibility. Apple crisp, obviously, that is another possibility. I'm trying to think of other things on the fringe of what people make with apples. You know, I'm trying to think of maybe I'll do a little British baking show thing and make some rough puff pastry and fill it with apples and then bake it. How would that be? Like a apple turnover type of thing. Like a little apple pie in a pouch type of thing. How about that? It'd be an apple hot pocket. Hot pockets. Okay. I'm looking for ideas. So if you come up with any and it's after the show, just either IM me or drop it on my page in the chat for this. Yeah. What time is it? Oh, all right. I got plenty of time because I do have something for the show. Paul Nardizzi. All right. Now, folks, I got to stop for a second because in the show right now on this is Mr. Paul Nardizzi. Now, I haven't seen Paul in a number of years. I haven't spoken to him in a number of years. And I don't ever think I ever told Paul how I feel about him. And when I tell you that this guy pissed me off more often than not because I was so jealous of his freaking talent, okay? He came into the comedy scene right around the same time I did, around the 1990-ish area, maybe earlier, maybe a little bit later, but right around that time. And his first time he came up on stage, he's got his headphones on, he gets up on stage, he takes the headphones off, and boom, the crowd is already laughing at him. Laughing with him, I should say. Laughing, laughing, laughing. I go up there and light myself on fire, and people are like, roll him around, put him out, you know. Nothing. I watch this guy, and his craft is phenomenal. His delivery, impeccable. I mean, Paul, I'm just coming off of this because I've been holding on to this for 20-something years. So you're here now. I figured I'd tell you. I admire you. I've admired your comedy for many, many years. I haven't gone out in a lot of years to see anything, but I mean, I was impressed with you from day one, and I couldn't emulate you because that's not who I am, but I certainly tried to learn something from you in the way you write stuff and the way you perform stuff as far as what you're writing about, what you're doing. That whole 6 years I was doing comedy, you were like a main focus of fucking Nardizzi. He gets people to laugh with this, and I don't know how. How does he do it? So I had to take a master class in comedy writing, and no, I didn't. But I did seek out the help of a Sherpa to help me navigate this road. And again, nothing. So thank you for being an inspiration to me while I was in comedy. I've been out for so many years now. It's crazy. But very fond memories of the days that, you know, we were all there in the beginning of our careers and hanging out with the bigger stars, as it will. But now, you know, you're the bigger star and you have the minions hanging out, you know, waiting to catch a word with you. And I think that's the coolest thing, man. So bravo to you, Mr. Nardizzi. You are one of the good ones. So yeah, so side tangent there. But turnovers are good. But I don't know. I'm thinking of something. But all right, here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to take just a quick... No, I'm not going to do promos because that takes like a minute, almost 2 minutes, and I don't want to do that. So I did get a request for a subject tonight, and the subject... Oh, I'll read the message that I got. It came in on the Paul Report hotline, and the username is AOL Still Rules 1992. Okay? And the question is, Paul, love the show, but you ramble a little too much, but that's okay. Thanks. The question he asked was, how do I make moonshine? Well, AOL Still Rules 1992. I just so happened to be out on the internet earlier this week trying to find a recipe to make paint come off of walls without ever touching the walls. And I came up with this recipe. Well, I found this recipe for moonshine. Now, the recipe itself is not very long, but how to make it is expansive. So I don't have the time to go all through the whole process today, but I am going to talk about what moonshine is, how it got started, and what ingredients and equipment you need. And then I'm going to go over the first steps of creating your moonshine. And then every week I will go over a new step as part of this. And then by the end, you should have moonshine. Or you killed yourself from inhaling the vapors that you're not supposed to inhale. So, okay. So moonshine is a distilled alcohol made from any grain or fruit, depending on what is accessible to you. Okay? The classic uses corn as the fermentable sugar. Okay? Now, the term moonshine comes from its illegality, which forced people to make it at night or under the light or shine of the moon, hence moonshine. In the historic run, farmers used this to earn extra money because low-value corn crops could be made into high-value whiskey. Apple moonshine. Now we're on to something. The U.S. government had a hand in this because of how highly they taxed alcohol. Now, when Prohibition began, all alcohol obviously became illegal. So literally overnight, illegal alcohol like moonshine became one of the most profitable businesses in this country we call the United States. This was also the time when speakeasies became popular, which of course, was complete with passwords, secret doors, and more. What's that more part? I don't know. But this all came to an end when alcohol became legal again when Prohibition ended. So if you ever get around to making some moonshine or having some that someone else made, remember that when you're drinking this, you're drinking something that had played a huge part in American history. And kids, learn your history. Facts are facts. History is good. Now, today I'm only going to go over the types of moonshine, the ingredients, and the first set of steps called creating a mash. So the ingredients are pretty simple. You got 5 gallons of water, 8.5 pounds of flaked corn maize. Now, I'm confused by that because when I was younger and we saw the commercials for Mazola, they said, why is it called Mazola? Well, in Native American language, maize means corn. So what this instruction is telling me, it's 8.5 pounds of flaked corn. Oi, what are we going to do? 1.5 pounds of crushed malted barley. You don't want to just dehumanize it. You want to crush it. You want to break it down. All right. You need some bread yeast, and optional is some sugar. Okay. Now, to create a mash, the steps of creating moonshine are, 1, you got to create the mash. Second is you got to ferment the mash. Next, you got to give the mash to the monster to make the monster. Sorry. After fermenting the mash is straining, then distilling, then collecting the distillate, and then storage. All right. So the first thing is the mash. So what you got to do is you got to weigh out all of your ingredients and then place your mash pot on a heat source. And this is the key part. Turn it on. All right. You pour in 5 gallons of water and boil it to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Once it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit, turn off your heat. Now, you got to immediately stir in your measured amount of flaked corn. Stir the mixture continuously for 7 minutes. If you don't have the upper arm strength, call a friend. Okay? You got to check the temperatures and keep stirring several times. Do this for 30 seconds. What happened there? Oh, okay. You check the temperature after the 7 minutes. You stir several times. Do this every 30 seconds for 5 minutes until the product cools down to 152 degrees Fahrenheit. Once cooled, stir in your measured amount of the crushed malted barley. Make sure you crush it. Check the temperature again. Stir for 30 seconds every 20 minutes until the mixture is cooled down to 70 degrees. Now, while this can take hours, you can also opt to speed this up by using an immersion cooler. But don't be a jerk. Just do it, all right? Don't use the immersion cooler. Do the traditional way, because back in the 1920s and 30s when Prohibition was around, they didn't have immersion coolers. So stay the fudge out of the Shopper Image and what's that other place? The kitchen store. It's at Lynn Market there. What's it called? Somebody. Honey, we bought stuff there last year. It's, I should just let it go, but I can't. Williams-Sonoma. That's it. Stay the hell out of there. You don't need no immersion cooler. Okay? So once it's cooled to the proper temperature, you add your yeast. Now you got to aerate the mixture by transfer it back and forth between separate containers for 5 minutes. So you can understand, you got to have a pretty big thing for 5 gallons of water. Now, pour the mixture into your fermentation bucket. And now that you have your mash, store it to ferment for 1 to 2 weeks at room temperature. All right. Now remember that the temperature is critical to your success. If it gets too cold, the fermentation could stop because the yeast's going to go, screw you, I'm going on vacation. I'm too cold. Shh. Remember, remember that yeast likes it warm. And what else? Anyone want to guess what it needs? It needs to be warm and I know there's a delay. That's why I'm waiting. No one wants to take a guess. It needs to be warm and moist. Yes. Needs to be. Jen knew where I was going with that. Warm and moist. Yeah, gotta get your fermentation warm and moist. Then the yeast is what will eat up all the sugar content and turn it into alcohol. Now, to get the best results, we recommend using a hydrometer to check the specific gravity at the start of the fermentation and when fermentation is done to ensure that your mixture has used up all the sugar. All right, so by doing this, you can use a formula to figure out how the ABV, or as most people know it as, is alcohol by volume, your fermentation has produced. So you got to write down I can't say that goddamn word. Write down the specific gravity reading at the start of fermentation and at the end of the process. All right, so next week, we're going to go over distilling. All right, and that's if we really have time. And I'm getting blurry. Oh, I'm getting blurry. Hold on a second. Gotta fix me here. Wah, wah. All right. Am I back? Nope. Still blurry. Why am I blurry? Why? Why am I blurry? Why? Let's go. Oh, there we go. I'm back now. Hi. Hi. All right. Why order it online when you can just make it? Just make your own moonshine. All right, I'm going to end this show because we have a few people here. I'm going to end the show with a game of Hangman. All right, so let me get it set up, and then we'll get to the man of Hang. All right, let's see if I can do this right. I hit this button. I go to here, and then I click on, where is it? This. Nope, that's not right. Nope, that's not it either. What happened? Oh, I know what. All right, let's go back to here. Camera. Don't want that. USB 3 caption. Yes, there we go. Ha ha. All right. So the hint is it's an achievement. It's an achievement. So let's get ready to think of letters. It's an achievement. And we need some music for this. Let's see. How about... Okay. That'll work for now. An achievement. D. There is a D. Yes, the GF yourself is an achievement, but this is a different achievement. But I like the way you think. All right. Mary's out in front with a D. It's an achievement. I'm dancing. A. There's an A. A T. No T. Bad Dan. Okay. So I guess I get to put my head up here, maybe? Yes, there we go. All right. An E. No E. Put body on me. Okay, I got a little belly. That's my hernia. What do we have? We had E. We have S. And we have G. Oh, we had T as well. Sorry. And S. A. T. E. No E. I said that. There was an S, a G, and an L. No G, no L. There's a G. There's an L. Okay, so now we got to put hand, arm, and arm. Okay. All right, we're getting there. It's an achievement, folks. L. No, I already did that, didn't I? Yeah, I already marked that off. A U. There is no U and U, so let's make a leg. Okay, an M. We do have an M. We have an M. Ken guesses an M. Ken, M. Jennifer comes to the win with stardom. That is an achievement. Yes. Alrighty, folks. Fantastical. And we got that done before the music stopped. Even better. All right. That was pretty cool, people. You guys got that pretty quickly. All right, let me get down to my wrap-up screen here. Oh, and I also have to put me right there. All right. Okay. Let me get back to my little board here. All right. Dan, the interwebs work for everybody the same. You were probably behind 3 hours in time, so you weren't getting the clues. Yes, with lasers. Okay. All right, folks. So yeah, so this has been fun. Well, I had fun. I hope you had fun too. So this next week, my guest is either going to be, actually no, my guest next week is going to be my good pal Andre Provencher, my in-house movie connoisseur, and we're going to be talking Halloween movies next week. So if you like the little homework you can have is if you want to come up with 3 to 5 of your favorite Halloween movies, see how your picks fare to my picks and Andre's picks. Now, just know that Andre, more than me, but we both have a knack for the lesser-known films in the horror genre. The scariest movie I ever saw was Gigli with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. That was a pretty scary movie. But yeah, and now you can see why my comedy career fizzled in 1996. All right, everybody. I thank you. A big thank you for first-time watcher Paul Nardizzi. Again, Paul, those are my true feelings, man. If you hated me, that's okay too, man. You were an inspiration. So, to Dan, Mary, Jen, Ken, Dan, Stan, Willie, just going up the list here. I think I got everybody. I think I did. Did I miss somebody? I don't think I did. No, I don't think I missed anybody. Thank you all for stopping by tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Play safe. Remember, New England Film Orchestra concert, October 21st. Buy your tickets. And if you win some, you can bring more people with you. All right, everybody. Have a good night. I am Paul, and you have been watching The Paul Report. HP2? All right, I'm going to run my credits and talk about that over the credits.